In a world obsessed with massive SUVs, the guys at Fiat have given us what we really need, the funky Fiat 500e. Let's go for a spin. Now the car over my left shoulder is a petrol version, but it's a cult classic, so Fiat have said, hold my macchiato, we're going to take this car into the brave new era of electrification. And they've brought out the Fiat 500e. We've been driving it for a few days and it is fantastic. We're also going to take it on a massive long road trip because people think that electric cars can't go very far. And that might be true of this car. It's only got a claimed range of 199 miles, but I've got big hopes and big ambitions for what it can actually achieve. Driving in the Fiat 500e is just a lovely experience. It's a great little car, it's nippy. Is it made for long distance travelling? Not really, but today we've been on the road for 8 hours and 17 minutes and it's fairly comfortable. One grumble, that's a bit plasticky. It's not very comfortable on long road trips. This is nice and soft, so you can just sort of lean into it there. In terms of dimensions, this car's a little bit longer than this one, a little bit wider, but a lot faster, thanks to that electric torque provided by the electric motor. They haven't gone crazy on the design, but the tweaks are bellissimo. We just stopped to get a coffee, get some charge, and it's a good chance to show you the front of this car. I'm a big fan. I think it looks a bit like Darth Vader's helmet in some ways. So if Darth Vader was going to have a little settee run around, I think this could be the one. Love the headlights. They kind of look like they're winking at you. From the side, looks brilliant. It looks funky. It is the funky Fiat 500e. Actually, while we're here, let's just talk about the back of the car. It's cute. You've even got a little E headlight there, reverse E on that background, little blue bit signifying the green, and obviously it's green, which means you can drive in ultra low emission zones. Currently on about 80%, so we're good to go. We've been here about 20 minutes. Time for coffee, time for a quick camera walk around, and the car's good to go. The model we're driving is the La Prima Fiat 500e. It has a 42 kilowatt hour battery, providing a WLTP of 194 miles. It does 0 to 60 in 9 seconds and has a top speed of 94 miles per hour, perfect for cruising around town. It has a maximum DC charge rate of 85 kilowatts, taking it from 10 to 80% in 35 minutes, meaning a long road trip is definitely possible with a little bit of planning. This is a nice touch, just simple. Sunshade. The sunroof doesn't open though. Although if you want a soft top version of the Fiat 500e, there is one available. But a quick tip, don't try and use an umbrella while you're driving the car. On the journey today, we've had a really good chance to get to know the car, and you've got loads of buttons and controls here, so you can flick through your trip and work out what your efficiency is like. You can also change the setup on the screen to see how much you're regenning. Obviously, change the radio station, do the volume all through here, and you've got a good little center screen here which gives you all that information, making it really easy to drive and to keep your eyes on the road rather than messing around with that screen. Remember, if this car doesn't float your boat, there are plenty of other lease deals available at selectcarleasing.co.uk and many more reviews to sink into over on our YouTube. Hello and welcome to the interior. First thing that strikes me about this is slick. The design is good. This feels lovely up here, goes right the way across the front, nice and smooth here, not too fingerprinty as well. This, on the other hand, very fingerprinty. And when we push this button, which is technically the ignition, the whole car comes to life. And a slight annoyance is you need to press this twice to actually get it into your specific gear, reversal drive. And it's a little bit slow on the response. Even cameraman Cal found it a little bit difficult. As irritating as this process can be, we are big fans of the circus-style noise you're played each time. But either way, I'm sure you'll get used to it. Your gear selector's up here as well. Park, reverse, neutral, drive. Just feels a bit unnatural, and I feel like it should be buttons for your doodahs and your what's it. I prefer it up here. Who would the car best suit? Well, I guess someone that does a lot of city driving, someone that's nipping about, needs to be able to park in tight spaces, needs to be able to turn around easy. This has got the turning circle of dreams. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyone zipping around town, doing the school run, popping to the shops, you know, this is a great car for that. But we've proved today you can also drive long distance because it does charge pretty quick. If you're wondering how we got on our road trip, we were pleasantly surprised. Starting on 108 miles of range, we covered over 400 miles in a day, charging twice for about 20 minutes each time. and made it back home in one piece. And bear in mind, that's on motorways sticking to the speed limit and with the aircon on, until the last leg that is. If you want to see that vid, follow @The Sustainable Dad and @SelectCar Leasing on Insta and YouTube. You've got some nice little cubby holes, things like your keys. Got this little electric button here to open the door. If that doesn't work, you've got a manual button down here as well. Not a massive door bin, but that's to be expected for a car of this size. Let's talk about the storage, because under here, loads of room here for things like your big dumb water cup. So you can stick that in there. Protrudes a little bit and you think, oh, that's a bit protrusive. That's not even a word. It is now. But down here, there's another little cup holder. Perfect. And it also looks a bit like a gear stick. So if you want to pretend you're in a classic Fiat 500, you can. Oh, and the armrest comes forward too. I should also mention that this armrest also slides back to reveal even more storage. Now, we've already said that this isn't necessarily your car of choice for a family road trip, and its small boot may be part of that, but how much can you actually fit in it? The boot clocks in at 185 litres with the seats up and 550 litres with the seats down. Enough room for your father-in-law, which of course is essential. Cheers, Pirate Pete. So with the seats up, enough room for a large suitcase and a couple of other small bags, and a football. But of course, with only a driver and a passenger, you can cram in an awful lot with the back seats down. But does it pass the golf club test? No, of course it doesn't. But you only have to lose one seat to make it work. Just here, you've got a lovely little cubby hole for your phone, and it charges wirelessly. You've also got a charging port here, and here, and here. Oh, and a 12 volt. You've also got your E-mode select, which again is not very responsive, and it's a little bit difficult getting it into normal, range, or Sherpa mode. You really have to push it hard to get it in there. Physical knobs and buttons, plenty of them, which is great. Although one problem I've found is when I'm driving along and I try and put the demisters on, it turns the radio off. Has anyone else found that with this car? Just me. One thing that this car does, which is a lovely little feature, is if you put in your destination and you haven't got enough range in the battery to get to that destination, it will suggest places where you can stop and charge. Stop beeping at me. Beep, beep, beep. You're driving in the middle of the road. Oh, car friend! While it does give you advice on where to stop and charge if you need to charge to get to your destination, which can be very useful, sometimes it's a little bit conservative and you can probably go a lot further. I think it tends to warn you when you're down to 20%, which for this car is still 40 miles, which is loads. And there are so many places to charge in the UK now that, you know, every 5, 10, 50 miles there seems to be a fast charger. So whoever's putting in all that charging infrastructure, thank you and well done, and keep going because we still need more.